play host to the Philadelphia Phillies. The Rays advancing into the postseason in 3 of the last 4 years. Spring into camp this year more optimistic than ever before. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an afternoon of Grapefruit League Baseball. I'm Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. I'll be joined by Orestes Destrado throughout the afternoon. We'll hear from Big O in just a moment. Well, the Rays are optimistic because they have great pitching depth, and we're going to see one of those starters today, Wade Davis, battling for a spot in the rotation. It would appear that his chief competition is Jeff Neiman, both double-figure winners a year ago. Wade Davis, an 11-game winner for the Rays, and so we'll see how that plays out as the second half of spring training unfolds. They're also optimistic because they have some new faces. One of those faces, a familiar one. That's Carlos Pena, and Orestes is standing by with Carlos right now.
Thanks, Dwayne. I do have the comeback kid, Carlito Pena, back here in town. Carlito, I had the experience of playing with the team for 4 years, leaving, coming back. So rewarding. I'm sure it is for you. What has been the biggest reward so far this early spring?
My teammates, just to come back and be with them. I think we have a very strong connection because we've been through a lot. I think I have grown personally with the ball club and as so many of my teammates. So we're very tight, man. We're first we're friends, then we're teammates, and we enjoy each other's company. So I'm so happy to just be back with them and doing what we love.
Well, brother, a lot of expectations, but I know you're going to be right there working it. Stay with us. When we come back, Carlito will be swinging, Rays will be pitching, and what you love best, Rays baseball. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
For great deals on the amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. Welcome back to Rays baseball this spring. The Rays and the Phillies will square off. It's a beautiful day for baseball. Talk of a potential sellout here in Charlotte County. The Rays spring home seats a little better than 6,800. The Rays come in with a record of 3-8. The Phillies are 5-7 on the spring. The Rays have seen a lot of good pitching, still looking for the offense to get hot. And the Phillies in a similar situation. We'll take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. Juan Pierre is going to lead it off in center. Kevin Franson is at shortstop with Ty Wigginton, the former Ray, at third. Dominic Brown, a big bat, the DH. Luis Montañez is in right field. Hector Luna is at first. Pete Orr will play second base. The catcher is Tubby Goswitz. And Brent Cleveland will be in left field, and he will bat ninth with Wade Davis on the hill this afternoon, competing for a spot in the rotation.
He sure is, and Wade did not have that good of outing last time, Dwayne, but he's looking to get back on track, even though he looked to me that he threw the ball pretty well. He just had some control issues, but it looked like the ball was snapping.
Take a look at the Rays' defensive setup, and traditionally the Rays have been a very tight defensive club, very good, and they'll do that again this year. They have Geyer, Fold, and Joyce left, center, and right. Keppinger, Jeff Keppinger, a new face at third. Reed Brignac at short. Will Rhymes trying to find a spot on this club as an extra guy. will be in second with Carlos Pena back. Jose Molina will do the catching for Wade Davis. Today's Rays game presented in high definition, brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Big O, it's great to have you with us here. You're going to be in the booth a couple of innings and then visit some folks around the ballpark and maybe back in.
It's beautiful. Beautiful spring day. Great to be with you, Dwayne.
Todd Callis on assignment with the USF Bulls. A big win for the Bulls over Cal, and we say go Bulls.
Great assignment.
Yep.
How about that game last night? They just dominated. So
Brian Anderson is somewhere in the north. We're not quite sure where he is.
The cold country.
Yep.
He's
thawing out right now.
Hunting or doing something.
But
like
it is wonderful here, as you mentioned. This is the place to be. Wade Davis set. Here is the first pitch to Juan Pierre, and it's called strike. This game is underway. You're familiar with Pierre, veteran outfielder. He can still run. Trying to make the Philly club. There's an extra outfielder, and Wade Davis quickly gets the jump on him. 2 strikes.
Right away, something he didn't do his last outing was controlling the zone.
Tap foul. That's one thing Davis said coming out of the offseason and beginning the spring, that he was going to be all business right from the get-go. And if you're competing for a spot anywhere, that's not a bad way to go. Hot shot, and that's going to skip through the infield and into center. So Pierre singles on an 0-2 pitch.
Juan Pierre, Dwayne, reminds me, or I think back in the 03 Marlins era when they won the World Series, and they had that dynamic duo of Castilla and Pierre. Actually, it was Pierre Castilla, which, you know, I'm hoping we might be able to time strike that combination. Obviously, they're not playing today because they crashed against each other, that being Jennings and B.J. Upton. But when those two are 1-2, it can remind you of that supersonic speed that those two type of players can create.
Yeah, in the game yesterday, they collided in left center field, Desmond Jennings and B.J. Upton, and the Rays consider themselves very fortunate. And Joe Madden said that he is very optimistic that they'll be available this weekend after a couple of days off. Here's Franson putting down a bunt. Davis will go to first to Pena covering, and Pierre advances into second base here on the sacrifice.
The epitome of spring training right there, Dwayne. The little PFP going on. You know, a bunt right back of the pitch is one of the first things that you start working on the moment that you set foot here, especially pitchers and catchers get here early in mid-February, and coaches got him fielding right around the mound, and a good job by Davis to field that ball.
Yeah, the idea being just to make that automatic in the reaction of pitchers. It's not always the most interesting thing to participate in, pitcher fielding practice.
Yeah.
There's a first pitch to Wigginton, the former Ray, and Ty takes it outside. 1-0.
Well, the biggest thing really is that your muscle memory of what you have to do, and the main thing is staying low and not standing up after you've caught the ball.
Ground ball, and that's going to be fair by the bag and up the left field line. Pierre scores without a problem. Wigginton digs for 2. Good throw will get him, and he is safe. He got in around the tag. Grimes had to come to the infield side to take the throw, and so Wigginton, hustling all the way, has himself a double, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead.
Looked like a two-seamer trying to ride it in his hands, left it right out over the plate, and the veteran Ty Wigginton. What a nice player to have on your team, especially with all the injuries that the Phillies are dealing with, serious injuries with Howard and Utley. Dominic Brown now down a little bit. A guy like Wigginton comes in nicely.
This is going to be Steve Sussdorf hitting out of the cleanup spot. And the pitch is a strike. We know they make a lot of changes in the spring. The Phillies have a split squad game going on, and they've made a change already because Dominic Brown was in the cleanup spot initially. And now Sussdorf hits out of the 4th spot.
Tough break for Dominic Brown. no pun intended, because last year he broke his hamate bone on his hand in spring training. He was expected to make that team as maybe the starting left fielder, right fielder, and obviously had to deal with that injury right off the bat. And then they bring in Hunter Pence, so they've asked him to move to left field. And now this spring, he ends up bruising his hand again, or his thumb, and so he's going to sit out, they think, probably about a week, Dwayne, before that kid gets back out there.
They do switch around a little bit.
And the pitch is down. A ball and 2 strikes. You know, they expect a lot out of Dominic Brown. He has a great bat. And Charlie Manuel was talking about his outfield play the other day, and Manuel's very good that way. He says he's fully aware of what he has to do out there to improve enough. But that bat sometimes speaks louder than anything else.
I mean, as a couple of years ago, he was a top 5 offensive player in all of minor leagues. That's the type of credentials that kid brings to the table. So I think he'll work it out. He's only 24 years old.
This is Rhymes at second with the toss to first. Susdorf is out of there. Wigginton advances over to third base.
Nobody better to talk about a player than Charlie Manuel. He's that good. Yep. He'll break a guy down for you and make it fun.
Yep.
When he's explaining somebody.
Charlie managing the Phillies up in Clearwater today, and Pete McCannon is running the Phillies here against the Rays. Luis Montanez, the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. Phillies with a first inning run, scoring on the Wigginton double. Ties down at third right now. Moving up on the ground ball. It's fouled back. 1-1. Montanez up on that bat handle, and I know that's not how you swung the bat, Orestes. And you don't see many guys choke up that period, but certainly not this much. We're talking that's circa, Bucky Dent, 1981 against Mike Torres in Boston. But it can be useful for certain type of players. I mean, a guy that I did play with and locker next to for a season didn't choke up that much, but choked up throughout his whole career was a guy by the name of Bonds. So Barry Bonds was a guy that choked up at least 1.5 inches, 2 inches, depending on, I would talk to him about it, depending on the pitcher, but at least 1.5 inches, at times even 2 inches if he felt like he needed to be quicker on the inside. So it's all about getting the bat head out.
Yeah.
Ooh, pretty close right there. And the count will go to 2-2.
Good pitch. Good pitch.
Tried to paint that backdoor 2-seamer, and very good pitch, though. Those are the type of early spring pitches you want to see by Wade Davis.
Ah.
And did he go? He did. He's out this time. Montanez tried to check, and on the appeal, he went around. 1 run scores. We go to the bottom of the first. Philadelphia won. The Rays coming in to hit. Rays coming in to hit here in the bottom of the first. Take a look at Joe Madden's lineup. Sam Folds going to lead off at center field, and we'll get a look at Luke Scott as the designated hitter. Matt Joyce in right field. Carlos Pena in the cleanup spot at first, and there's Jeff Keppinger hitting 5th at 3rd. Reed Brignac at short. Jose Molina bats 7th. Brandon Geyer's in there in left hitting 8th. And Will Rhymes, the second baseman, bats 9th.
And on the mound, the veteran, Joel Pinheiro. Crafty righty that will sink and slide you quite a bit. Fastball, slider, sinker, mostly sinkers. Will drop a little curveball on you. And this is, especially for the young guys in camp that might see him a little bit, may be an education because he definitely, moves it around and works you a lot.
Pinheiro trying to make the Phillies staff a very good pitching staff. He's in camp as a non-roster pitcher. And Sam Fuld takes the first pitch up and away. Well, the Rays have been beset by a number of injuries, sort of those nagging spring injuries. And Sam Fuld was slowed a bit with the right wrist. Good to see him back in there and swinging the bat.
And actually, Dwayne, that, believe it or not, that tends to be in early spring for the hitters a common injury, the wrists. And that's because you're starting to hit a lot more. As much as you think that you hit in the winter, you're hearing a lot of guys get, the wrist being one of those injuries.
2-2 the count to Sam. Luke Scott, who's coming back from work on his shoulder, will hit second, and then Joyce. It's a chopper foul. So it's a 2-2 count. Pinheiro 33. And you're right about the sinker slider combination. He'll throw you a number of pitches, but those are for sure the crux of his repertoire out there.
Good pitch. And if you've got a rotation, like the rotation the Phillies have, you may sneak in there and be that kind of offset guy.
Sam draws the walk. The Rays have a base runner. Take a look at the defensive setup here for the Phillies. Fred Cleveland in left, Juan Pierre center, and Luis Montañez in right. Wigginton, Franson on the left side of the infield, or at second, Luna at first. No switch doing the catching, and Pinheiro on the hill. And here's Luke Scott. Well, the Rays were last in the American League East in runs scored last year. And they're certainly hopeful and have every reason to believe that adding Luke Scott and Carlos Pena to this lineup will go a long way toward rectifying that concern. I mean, here's a guy who potentially could hit 30 home runs. A healthy Luke Scott is somewhere in that 20, 25, and maybe 30 department when it comes to home run power.
Totally. And then predominantly would probably be DHing so he can protect his body a little bit, especially that shoulder. Won't have to, even though it's the right shoulder, he's a left-handed thrower. But nevertheless, won't be as taxing. I think he's a very attractive hitter offensively, both against righties and lefties. He's a guy that battles lefties too.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about him. He's pretty good against left-handed pitching, and he's also one of those hitters who, when he gets hot, he can get super hot. And so for a good stretch, he can really help carry an offense.
I remember, I think it was obviously not last week, he was hurt, but in 10, I remember they came in. Baltimore, remember one time he came in, he was at one of those stretches, and he just wore us out for a 3-game series. He hit like 600, a couple of jacks. You're right, he is a very streaky hitter. But won't be asked in this lineup, I don't think, to do, to have to hit 40 jacks.
Yeah. 2-2. Boy, what a difference I would imagine that would make. And you being a hitter and a guy with good power. But if you bring a guy in who's a pretty good power hitter and you go, you're going to be our guy. Well, that's one thing. But if you bring a guy in who's got pretty good power and you go, I want you to fit into this lineup. Correct. Boy, I think the potential for good things is certainly increased under those circumstances.
Dramatically.
2-2 the count. Fuld takes off and a hot shot foul.
And I'm going to tell you why, because it's a situation where if they would have just signed Luke Scott and not made another dramatic offensive move, then Luke Scott comes in here and goes, wow, all eyes on me. But when you combine it with the Luke Scott and the Carlos Pena basically successively in the signings, Now I'm Luke Scott, and I'm going, okay, well, we just brought in 30 plus. You know, I just got to go in there, be healthy, and give them 25. And if I give them 30, you know, that's icing on the cake.
Well, they help each other, and they're going to help Evan Longoria in this lineup as well.
That's actually that's the whole equation.
Yep.
Because that addition is for bringing in more runs, but the addition is to unleash Evan Longoria, because people have not even touched the surface of what this kid, the quickness in his hands, how patient he is at the plate, how fast, could be able to walk more and be more productive, because he won't go out of the zone if these guys stay hot, you know, most of the season.
Pulled back in there, drawing a toss from Pinheiro. Yeah, and I think we started to see, you know, with all of the injuries and the nagging physical issues that Longoria had last year, still to finish with 31 homers and 99 runs batted in was just an amazing recovery for him.
With not much behind him, really. I mean, you had at most times Casey Cochran hitting behind him, or you know, or Johnny Damon, who I thought did a great job for us, and did Casey. I'm a big Casey fan, but let's be honest, you know, you're not fearful.
There's ball 3 and a full count. Well, and you want to be careful about projections, but you know, when Longoria made that recovery last year, over the last 98 games, he had 27 home runs. That was a pace to hit 45 home runs and drive in 145 runs.
If you break it down, yeah, go ahead.
Well, that pace over 100 games, almost 100 games at that pace, well, you have reason to believe that, you know, he could emerge with a monster year.
Yeah, I mean, you can reel it back a little bit because it's hard to extrapolate it at times in sports when you condense it, but I think he is given the right offense, just, you know, a good, solid offense of what this could be. A fearful offense. By that I mean that a pitcher on the mound looks at the batting circle and sees who's on deck, and it tweaks him a little bit, that maybe he squeezes that curveball, that slider, he misses the sinker. That's what creates greater offense. He can have an incredible season.
Fold on the move again, and a shot foul. It's one of those at bats that drive a pitcher crazy.
Good for a hitter. He's seeing a lot of pitches.
Yep.
Right now, you want to see as much as you can. This is actually a pretty good guy to face, because most of spring early on, you're facing the hard, young, you know, guys, you know, AAA or AA, a lot of times that are just throwing 100. And it's good to get to what the finesse of the game is.
So Scott right now looking, about to look at his 10th pitch of this at bat. And he taps it, first base side. Pinheiro makes the play, and Fold keeps running and heads into third safely. Sam Fold all the way to third on that little tapper. Some aggressive base running. That's the heads-up play that Joe Madden smiles about.
Super Sam I am. He is something to watch. He does the little things so big that we just love this kid. I really do. And the dribbler, he's going on the pitch, so that is what made the difference. He's going on the pitch, sees where the ball goes, which is on the opposite side towards first base, and he goes, I'm going to go for it and kind of try to catch this first baseman sleeping.
Yeah, I have another theory, and I'll get to that in a moment here as Matt Joyce steps in. You know, the guys to raise money and research for Pediatric Cancer Foundation, a lot of the Rays shaved their heads today. There's a strike. And Stu Sternberg was here. He did as well, the Rays owner. But Stu thought that one of the byproducts of that might be, if you get rid of all that hair, you're more aerodynamic, and it would increase team speed. So Fold might even be faster than he was before.
Wow.
And so going first to third on a little tap like that could turn out to be routine as a result of shaving his head.
Yeah.
2 strikes the count to Joyce. I mean, everybody got into it.
A lot of them. Yeah, they sure did. What a solidarity support here in this team.
Carve my initials in the side.
Carve my initials. Who was that?
That's Stu.
Oh, that's Stu. I didn't even recognize him. Goodness. He's looking like McQueen and Cool Hand Luke there, I think, is what he's looking like.
That's inside. A ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Joe Madden led the charge with all the guys down the right field side.
We were happy about that because Joe came into camp with some funky hair to begin with. So
yeah, but that's to be expected. You're never quite sure what you're going to find. Chopper foul down the right side. So they did all that to benefit the Pediatric Cancer Foundation and the Vincent LeCavier Pediatric Cancer and Blood Disorders Center at All Children's Hospital. LeCavier has his foundation, and so they teamed up. There are going to be a number of those around the Tampa Bay community, and the Rays are happy to say that this was the kickoff of all of that. Another foul ball by Joyce, holding the count 1-2, and so let's see. Oh, there's Joe Madden.
Yeah.
The aftermath of being cleaned up.
Yeah, you kind of actually, Stewart looked like McQueen and Cool Hand Luke, but I think Joe might look like Uncle Fester from the Adams Family. I'm sorry, I'm just going to go there.
Runner at third, one away. A ball, 2 strikes.
Good pitch.
Pitch very close, and that's pretty vintage Pinheiro right there.
Yes, it is. He works you, and the main thing about him is that he works completely both sides of the plate. I mean, he will, change up your eyes as far as working inner half, outer half.
And the count goes full. So this is turning out to be an extended inning for Pinheiro here. He went 7 pitches to Fold, 10 pitches to Scott, 7 now to Joyce. And a ground ball right side. They're going to come home, and the throw is in. Did he get in or not?
He did.
He got in there just under the tag. Tim Welke pointing out that he got in under the tag. And again, it's the Sam Fold speed. He's more aerodynamic than ever before. Dare we say, aerodynamic.
He's a hair faster.
Yeah, to tie this game.
Well, Hector Luna kind of had gotten picked at by Sam Fold. The ball by Luna thrown from first base got there before Sam, but right here you see that the catcher gets the ball before him, but Sammy does a nice little hook slide. Good call by Welke because the tag was late. It was high up in his hit, and that foot got in there, and that's Rays baseball. I think we're going to be seeing hopefully a lot more long ball and a lot more, extended innings with some power, but that's also Joe Madden Rays baseball right there.
Yeah, there's a run without a hit. Joyce getting the run home on a fielder's choice, and Fold beat the play at the plate, got in under the tag.
There he is. Look at that.
See? He's got to be faster.
Yeah.
1-0 the count to Carlos Pena.
He's like a Porsche now. Look at that thing. Look at this. Just and energy efficient too. And this is the day and age that we're looking for energy type of the things. I think the only problem is I think Dwayne, I was concerned. You were thinking about doing that. I pulled you back from doing it because I think it would have taken. We would be still them cutting your hair.
It would have taken way too long.
way too long for those locks and broken some instruments.
Yeah, that's it. Scissors would have been dull.
So I held you back, man. I said, listen, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Well, I did that in support of Todd Callis. He had asked me earlier, please don't do that, and if you don't, then he wouldn't have to, and we could stand in solidarity.
Right.
2-0 the count to Carlos Pena. Boy, it was great to see you chatting with him. It's great to see him back, just to have his presence back on this ball club. I mean, he's going to hit some home runs. He's going to strike out. He does that. But he's going to produce some runs here. And he is so fun to have around.
His smile, I mean, I've been here now a couple of times this week visiting and now doing the game with you, Dwayne, and his smile is so big. He's just so happy. And I'm hoping that he can just, kind of reel it all in and not think that he has to do too much.
Yep. Count's going to go to 2-2.
Because he is about, really number 23 for this team, especially early on, is about the fear factor. I mean, this guy is one guy in the lineup, along with Elo, with Longoria, that strikes fear. And I think you need that in lineups. You need to have those type of things that a pitching coach, a pitcher, defense is thinking about.
And this one drops a bit low, and the count is full. So that's 3 consecutive full counts now run by Pinheiro.
Might see Matt Joyce getting his legs warmed up a little bit and see if Tom Foley might be unleashing him.
Jeff Keppinger is going to be the next hitter. He's on deck. Runner is on the move, and a strike called on the outside part of the plate, and the throw is going to get it. The throw tailing toward the first base side, but in a way that helped complete the strikeout, throw him out double play. So the first is over. The Rays get a run on the speed of Sam Fuld. We're tied at 1.
Me and the guys walk into the
with the Rays, we'll get to see him bat in the bottom of the second inning. He's playing third base today. Luke Scott, of course, we've already seen him as the DH. Fernando Rodney in the bullpen. And another hard thrower, the right-hander Lukey over. The Rays have assembled with those two guys, Rodney and Lukey, two very strong arms.
Yeah, and I think of Fernando Rodney, I kind of think of back in 10 when they had they struck lightning in a bottle with a guy by the name of Joaquin Benoit. Maybe it could be a similar thing, hopefully, with Fernando.
Hector Luna, second inning underway, and a first pitch strike thrown by Davis. Way to 17 pitch first inning, touched for 1 run. Luna, Orr, and then Goswitch due up for Philadelphia. 2 balls and a strike.
And the kid Keppinger, I'm really excited about him being here.
Shot, base hit. A liner toward left center, and Fuld over to cut it off. Luna aboard.
Second base number 4.
So for the second straight inning, the Phillies have the leadoff man on base. I think you're right about Keppinger. I like his versatility. That's something that Madden really likes. But Madden said the other day he was so impressed at the offensive side of his game.
Yeah.
He said this guy is a professional hitter. He knows what he's doing up there. So as a right-handed bat who can play a number of roles, he's a welcome addition. Here's Orr. Pete Orr lifting the fly ball, and Fuld takes care of it in center.
No, he very much fits Joe Madden, Tom Foley's mentality of offense, defense. His defense is exceptional. This guy's played every position in his career except the spine. Basically, he hasn't played center or pitched, obviously, but he's played all the other positions extremely well. If you look at his stats, I mean, with very few errors, and then offensively, he's a monster against lefties. So I kind of think of him as hopefully a Mark DeRosa type back in the day with the Braves.
Pitch to the catcher, Goswitch is down. A ball and no strikes. Well, Madden loves to attempt to create depth through versatility, and he's done that from the very beginning here, trying to develop that. And Keppinger would fit right in that attempt. There's a strike on the inside corner. Meanwhile, the Rays, a lot of people think that their rotation could be not only 6 deep, but Alex Cobb's been sent to the minor league camp, which would make it 7 deep. And you could argue there are a couple of other young arms that wouldn't be that far away from making it 8 or even 9 deep in terms of young arms for that rotation. And more immediately is to figure out what the 5-man rotation will be. Joyce is there to make the catch on the fly ball hit by the young Philly catcher. 2 gone. Runner still at first, and so right now, I mean, Matt Moore is not taking anything for granted. You know, we talk about the battle between Davis and Neiman, and
right.
That seems to be the obvious. But you know, I guess there could be a scenario where both those guys could be in the rotation.
Sure. Oh, most definitely. I think there's something to be said about experience and already past success. The one thing about Davis that I feel, unlike Neiman, is that he truly could be your swing man. If you have a situation where even, you know, again, heaven forbid that we have a real injury in the latter part of the bullpen, you know, with a Kyle Farnsworth or something like that. We saw him last year come in out of the pen. He has that mentality. He has the arm that can recuperate quickly. Something that you can't experiment with Neiman. You can't take that chance.
Yeah, and you just wonder, Jeff, given his background and the physical side of that, he's had some physical issues, and how he responds. You know, and to some degree maybe Davis, but I agree with you. I think Davis is probably more suited to be effective in that role out of the bullpen, something that he might not necessarily like to hear.
No.
But, you know, he's versatile enough, and he's certainly going to help you in the rotation. Could also help you in the bullpen. Just physically capable of maybe making the adjustment required to do that. A couple of hits here in the second inning. Cleveland aboard, and we go to the top of the order, Juan Pierre. But I'll tell you, it's a much greater problem to have when you go looking to fill a couple of spots in a rotation. Pierre looks at a strike. And it's tough. It's a challenge for those young pitchers, and Alex Cobb would be one. He was coming back from that thoracic outlet syndrome when they removed a rib to avoid any more of the blood clots forming there, something that's not all that uncommon with pitchers. But you know, here's a young guy who certainly made a statement when he came to the Rays, pitched well. But really the smart thing to do for the organization and for him is to get into the minor league camp where he can pitch regularly and get a lot of work in early, so he's ready to go. Because you figure, I don't care who you break camp with, it's going to take more than those 25 guys you break camp with.
That's exactly what I was here on Monday, and that was the day that he got sent down. And I was leaving, and and he had his head kind of a little upset. I said, "What's up, bro?" He goes, "Man, I just got sent down." I go, "Dude, listen, you just came off of major surgery. You've got so much upside. You're still young. You're probably going to see 2 or 3 months this year. You know, just hang tight. You probably are, because things happen. A guy gets nicked up, and when you have the convenience of so many great pitchers down on the farm team that have already produced, they'll quickly make a move here and there in order to rest another guy. You know, other teams can't do that. They don't know how their young 22-year-old's going to be. You already know that Alex Cobb could come in and spot start against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium and won't be, you know, gunshot.
Yeah. You get a young pitcher who can make a pitch, and that's so important, and confident that he can do that. And Cobb is like that. He's going to pitch a long time and be successful in the major leagues. It's just a matter of time for him. Little popper into short right. Joyce trying to close, gets there but can't handle it. The ball loose. Luna has scored. Cleveland heads to the plate. He's going to score. Pierre winds up at second, and that will make it 3-1. Well, Joyce came close It had the ball jar loose.
Shortstop number 28, Kevin Branson.
They sure did, and those are the spring training tweeners, man, that you see him bending down. I think he's totally fine. Might have gotten the wind knocked out of him, but those tweeners that you're like, okay, go ahead and work on the dive right here, but please don't get hurt. You know what I mean? Don't extend that shoulder and get hurt. Here comes Luna around. He's going to score for sure, but then when the ball squirts away, the other kid, Cleveland, also very swift and scores. But good bid by Joyce. We've seen him do that now for the last couple of seasons. He's not afraid to dive. We got a dynamic outfield. Once it's all said and done,
yep.
I call them the Jays. You got MJ over there in right, BJ in center, and DJ in left.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to go get them, and then you throw in Sanfold occasionally. This is a strong outfield.
1-0 the count to Franson. Kevin Franson playing shortstop today for the Phils. 1-1 the count to him. Yeah, that's one part of Joyce's game. Well, one of the reasons he was sent to AAA to make himself a better outfielder and a better base runner. And he recognized that, worked on it.
You're right.
He's done that.
Because he's got the speed. He's definitely got the arm. But you're right. There were times, even a couple of years ago, that he had trouble gauging the balls. And it's a matter of consistency and applying yourself, because it's something that has well within him, but he hadn't really applied himself. Now he's become a pretty darn good right fielder.
Davis ahead in the count. Ooh, pretty close right there. He's made a couple close pitches. And the count goes to 2-2.
Looked like a little cutter. Now he was just going right up for the outside corner there with a four-seamer and missed.
Down to third. Keppinger keeps it in front of him and still had time, and then could not find a handle, and the inning will continue. So Franson will reach.
Ball came up on him a little bit and kind of ate him up just a tad, and you're right, he had time. And I think where he lost it again on that second one, Dwayne, is he went after the ball with the glove, and it's one of those things that once you get the ball in front of you, and if he had to do over, he'd go after it with his bare hand instead of going back and having to reach into the glove.
Yeah, you'd really love to see him make that play. And here's Wigginton. So that's an E5 to Keppinger. Wigginton takes a strike. So Davis has had a couple of close calls to get out of this inning. That ball that Pierre hit, it was jarred out of the glove of Matt Joyce. And now the E5. That's a ball. Snap throw down to third. Sneaking back in is Pierre. There's Molina behind the plate.
I love
That's going to be a great addition to the Rays.
Oh, what a guy to throw to with this now young veteran team, pitching staff, a staff that already knows what it's doing. But then you infuse this technician, this guy that knows how to frame, knows how to call a game. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Something extra on that one, and Wigginton is behind 1-2.
You have the world-class known Puerto Rican flying Molinas. I mean, what a family.
How about that family?
I mean, and like three at the time, at one point in time, the three best catchers in the world.
Yeah.
Yadier, Benji, and Jose. Defensively, at least.
That's wide, and the count goes to 2-2. Well, how about this? I mean, not only do from one family you get three kids who go to the big leagues. They do it as catchers. They're all great catchers, and they all three have World Series.
Oh, that's
rings.
right.
How about that?
I forgot about that, because he got one in 09 with the Yanks.
Into the dirt. That's going to skip by, and down from third comes Pierre to cross the plate. Franson moves into second. Now the Phillies make it a 3-run inning and a 4-1 ball game.
Of all the problems here for Wade, this is really the only one that I'm sure he wishes he could have back, because he's really made pretty good pitches. Could have been out of the inning if Matt makes that catch. Some of the other hits have been kind of little chinkers. Nobody's really tagged him well, and he's just missed with a few balls and strikes. But that one's a slider you want back.
Wigginton fouls it away. So a wild pitch allows the run to score. A near catch, an error, and a wild pitch, and the Phillies have a nice inning. Wigginton missed the fastball up to retire the side, but the Phillies put up 3. We got to the bottom of the second inning. It's 4-1 Philadelphia. Rays down 4-1. They come into bat in the bottom of the second inning. You can relive the Rays' magic from last year's final game. The Yankees come back for opening weekend. That'll be Sunday, April 8th. The first 10,000 kids 14 and under receive a Raymond cowbell presented by Chick-fil-A. Purchase seats by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or visiting RaysBaseball.com. Yankees open against the Rays at Tropicana Field. Opening day for the Rays Friday afternoon. That's April 6th. New York in for the opening weekend.
I think that'll feel surreal. Seriously, to have them opening it after what was September 28th of 2011 was incredible.
2-1 now, the count.
That was an I mean, you can't even.
Yep. What a
the
game.
day
162
for all of baseball.
And for baseball.
I think of my buddy Freddie Gonzalez over with Atlanta that suffered through his deal.
Keppinger chops it, and that ball gloved by Franson, but he cannot make a play. And Keppinger has a base hit. Keppinger came in 6 of 17 for the spring, hitting a little over 350, and picks up another hit here.
Nice range by the kid at short. He still wanted to come up gunning, even though he's like almost on the other side of second.
So the leadoff man aboard for Reed Brignac. Reed's 5 of 15 for the spring, and Joe Madden said he's been encouraged by what he has seen offensively. Ground ball, and that's going to be just foul. Brignac jumping on that first one.
Well, you know, I spoke with him before the game, and I hadn't seen him this year yet. And the first thing I asked him, I go, "What did you do this winter? I mean, what did you work on? I mean, what? Because you obviously, you know." And he goes, "Just calming myself down, and getting back to base. I said, you're a good hitter. You are a good hitter, and you just got to get back to that. Because by the end of last year, what I noticed with you said you were so tied up at the bat that there's no way that you could do anything. You were squeezing the handle of the bat. So get back to your looseness. You know, as a hitter, you got to have your shoulders loose, and then your elbows and your hands loose in order to explode on a ball.
1-1 the count. I guess 2 strikes now. That foul ball. 0-2.
Defensively,
oh, no question about that. Ooh.
This kid's Belanger, back in the day. I mean, he's acrobatic. He's got a hose. I mean, there's not much he can't do.
In the dirt and blocked. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And so it's an interesting battle this spring.
Yeah.
Sean Rodriguez nicked up a little bit with a finger injury, but between Sean Rodriguez and Reed Brignac, it's going to be interesting to see how that works its way through the spring and into the regular season.
I mean, conceivably, you could have a platoon situation there, with as well as Sean hits lefties, and then just let Reed kind of deal with and blend into the season, just having to deal with righties. You don't lose a whole heck of a lot defensively with Sean at short. So, that might be one of those platoon scenarios.
Liner and a base hit up the middle for Brignac. Keppinger advances to second, holds there. So Brignac has a hit.
Right then and there, I mean, that whole at bat, he just looked so much more comfortable at the plate. He doesn't look, there's a difference when you're looking tense and tight, and he's looking nice and smooth. Beautiful follow through. And what was key to me, Dwayne, was a couple of pitches before that, the changeup or sinker that he took it so nice. And it wasn't last year when you're tense and you're kind of already, your hands are following with your body towards the pitch, or you're attempting or making a swing. So he's just much more relaxed and calm.
And a lot has been made of that extreme uppercut that he has had. I didn't see so much of that in this at bat.
No, it was nice. It was. He has a slight uppercut, but that's okay. As long, the difference is the tightness. It slows everything down, and you're thinking and you're squeezing, you're making the bat into sawdust.
And if it's exaggerated, that bat's not going to be what they call in a hitting zone very long. But every hitter, to hit, you have to have something of an uppercut.
Correct.
I mean, Ted Williams argued that, and who's going to argue with Ted Williams?
Greatness.
I mean, there's a popper on the right side. Or out from second base. And that's the first out. The runner's still at first and second. But it would seem that when it becomes exaggerated, that's another story. And I didn't see that in this at bat, which could be very encouraging.
Well, that's what it is. You break it back down. When you get into that position, you go back down to your basics. Remember, he did have a few jacks the year before. He had some nice home runs, and he has a nice home run stroke. But I think last year, look how smooth that is. Look at the follow through. It's nice, fluid, smooth swing. Last year, there was time. I remember Joe even talking about it. I think he said that he's trying to hit, a 5-run homer with nobody on base. You're trying to do way too much.
Dyer pops it up. It's Luna in foul territory. 2 gone, and the runners are still at first and second base.
One of the things this offense has potential to have is similar to what we were talking last inning with Luke Scott, not needing to, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's a cumulative. They're way more athletic. This is a more athletic offense, a more athletic team when you think about it. When you replace Kochman at first base, again, I love Casey, the pride of Seminole Warhawks, great kid, wish him well in Cleveland, but he was perennially base to base. Now you get a Carlos Pena, he gets on first base, he can go first and third. So you can do more dynamic things. And we already had talked about, Fold, the outfielders. Evan runs well. You have a more aggressive offense, which creates opportunity. And a guy like Reed Brignac doesn't have to come up there thinking, I got to hit a double, I got to hit a homer.
Yep.
They'll just keep the offense flowing and let's run them down It doesn't mean stealing 900 bases. It's just being more aggressive.
Strike the count to Will Rhymes, the second baseman. Chops this one. Backhanded by Luna. And the toss to first to Pinheiro covering. Rays put 2 men on, leave them that way. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We head into the third. It's 4-1 Philadelphia.
I live.
Here in Charlotte County. Secure your seats for opening day with Rays season tickets and enjoy exclusive benefits, including the best seats, biggest savings, as well as postseason privileges with a variety of plans available and special payment options. You can be a part of the Rays team today. Rays season tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Steve Sussdorf, he's the designated hitter, and the first pitch is a little outside. Wade Davis beginning his third inning of work. And he drops a breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 1-1. Into the Rays dugout, creating a little havoc. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chico Fernandez in there, the Rays video guy, and during spring training apparently doubles as the clubhouse concierge. He set up a table just outside the clubhouse door and takes care of any needs. Swing and a miss and a nice pitch to get Sussdorf. Sussdorf, who had grounded out his first time, is out on strikes. Third strikeout of the game for Davis. That pitch had some movement away from Sussdorf. Here's Montañez. Breaking ball down and away. And that one drops in. So back-to-back breaking pitches, and that one for a strike. Two balls and a strike here. Two and two. Phillies with 4 runs. They now have 5 hits. And Davis really has made a few pitches, but he has pitched better than that line would indicate. He had a couple near misses on some very close pitches. You see the pitch count up over 50. Ground ball, that's going to skip through, rolling in between Rhymes and Brignac. And Montañez has a ground ball base hit to center. 6 hits off Davis. It was in the last inning that near catch by Joyce out in right would have made a big difference, and then the error contributed to the 3-run inning. Now Hector Luna. Montañez, the base runner, back in. Orestes Estrada making his way down toward the dugout. He'll be chatting with some of the Rays from that vantage point a little later. Luna takes the first pitch down. And we'll be hearing from Andrew Friedman in the next inning or so, and then we'll have a chat with Joe Madden and Matt Silverman scheduled as well. It's going to be skip foul, and the count is 1-1. Luna now 32 years old. He was originally in the Indians organization and spent a short time in camp with the Rays. At one point, sinking line drive, one hop right in front of Geyer. First and second now with one out. Luna is 2 for 2. So the Phillies have had base runners in every inning and been in scoring position, and they've scored in each of the first 2. Threatened here in the third. And now Pete Orr. Down and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Rays infield hoping to get a double play ball out of Orr. Orr originally got to the big leagues with Atlanta. Spent some time with Washington. Last year split time with the Phillies in their AAA club. That's a popper foul ball and handle on the infield pop. Keppinger taking care of the formality of putting that one away.
Catcher number 77, Tuffy Goswitch.
2 gone, 2 men on. Tuffy Goswitch up here. Pitch is a strike. Goswitch, 28 years old. He spent time at Double-A with the Reading Ball Club last year. There's a high fly ball right center field. That's going to be tough to run down, and right there is Joyce to make the catch. Boy, a nice route by Matt Joyce into right center field after that one. Pulled at a full head of steam and was not going to get there, and Joyce makes a nice play by running a very good route. Bottom of the third coming, 4-1 Philadelphia.
This one's for all us loansmiths. Grass
Phillies lead the Rays. Just a reminder, fans, whether you're with family at home or with friends watching our telecast, you want to discuss, interact, or stay up to date with your favorite teams on Fox Sports Florida and Sun Sports, just like us on Facebook and become a part of the game. Go to facebook.com/Fox Sports Florida Sun Sports. We'll see a new pitcher, David Percy, 29-year-old left-hander, will take over for Joel Pinheiro. See Percy this spring has made 3 appearances. He had a busy season last year with Toronto, Oakland, and Detroit. So Pinheiro works 2 innings in the mid-40s in pitch count. Rays got him for a run in the first. A couple of hits, gave up a walk, and now they'll face the left-hander Percy. And Sam Fuld, who scored the Rays run in the first inning when he drew a walk, will face the left-hander. And a bunt that gets by the pitcher. Gloved by Orr, and the throw is not in time. And boy, Fuld is on his game here today with a bunt single. When he got it by the pitcher, you knew it would be almost impossible for the second baseman Orr to throw him out. Fuld has a nice base hit right there on the bunt. The only chance was maybe a barehanded pickup and throw, but it wasn't even close at first. And now we'll see Luke Scott here against the lefty. Percy's fastball is a strike. Percy divided time last year in the big leagues among Toronto, Oakland, and Detroit. A little low fastball this time, and it's 1-1. Percy originally drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, and that was in 04. Got to the big leagues for a time in 08. So Scott looking for his first hit of the spring. He just recently back in action after having that shoulder worked on. And the Rays have him, at least for right now, pretty much on an every other day basis, just to see how that shoulder reacts in the 3 to 4 at bats, and then have a day off and then back in there. So he's 0 for 4 coming in to this game, 0 for 4 for the spring, and went out pitcher first with an extended 10-pitch at bat his first time up there. Two and two, the pitch high. Phillies got a run in the first. The Rays got a run, and Philadelphia with 3 runs in the second inning. Skied out of play. Well, you look at Scott's numbers and his power potential, what he's done in the big leagues. He originally came up with Houston and went to Baltimore. That was in the 08 season. And is out on strikes. Pitch breaking away from him. Take a look at this strikeout pitch from the left-hander. Slider just kept moving away. Here's Matt Joyce, another lefty, here against Percy. Pitch outside, 1-0. And oh, I know you've made your way to the dugout now, and for the Rays, this is what you want to see in the spring. You want to see Scott, Joyce, and maybe Pena next face a lefty.
Yeah, this is exactly what they want to see right here. I mean, early in spring, you want to get as many ups you can with the left-handed pitcher situation. And again, I think that this is positive for all three of these guys that we're seeing right here, including Matt Joyce, who was questionable last year how well he could hit lefties, and he showed he could.
He's staying in on the fastball and fouled it back. That pitch came in on him a little bit, and the count is 1-1. Yeah, that could be the next step for Matt Joyce. That comfort level and effectiveness against left-handed pitching, because he wants to play every day against both righties and lefties.
Well, that's what made him an all-star last year, I think. That first half when he showed that that he could hit the lefties, and then he worked himself into the everyday lineup and rewarded with an all-star appearance.
Runner takes off, and the pitch is tapped foul. So Fold will retrace his steps. The count is 1-2. You might start a runner there, whether he's a lefty or right-handed bat, but I think a situation like that could be good for Joyce, the left-handed bat against the left-hander, to have the runner breaking.
Well, that's another thing that I think is going to be exciting in the middle of a lineup when we get the guys like Sammy Fold, who might be leading off a lot, or DJ Jennings, or a BJ maybe hitting second. So those guys are on base. You got some power lefties that are going to have a big hole over there at first base.
Hey guys.
It's a line foul. It's out of play, and I think somebody had a Euro that now left the eating surface down there. It was there, and then it wasn't. Heads up, sitting at those high tops. And a cut and a miss by Joyce. So he's out, missed the fastball there from Percy. Back-to-back strikeouts of Scott and Joyce. Went up with a fastball and got him. And here is Carlos. Pena in the cleanup spot. Fouls it back, strike one. It occurred to me from this angle, and I don't know if you can see it from there, but on that first pitch there to Pena, Percy, a pretty good job of hiding the ball.
Yes,
before he unleashed it to the lefty.
Yeah, he releases late, actually, and he's got a little bit of pop. So his body comes before the ball.
And he pops up Pena in the shallow center. Pierre takes care of that. So after the bunt single, 1, 2, 3 go the Rays. We're through 3. We head to the 4th with the score 4-1 Philadelphia. We go to the fourth with the Rays trailing the Phillies 4-1. Rays dropped the game yesterday to Miami 4-2. It's the game in which Jennings and Upton had the collision in left center field and were both stunned, but came out of that all right. And the word we hear is that they're going to be fine and should be back in action in the next couple of days. We go to the fourth. Rick Cleveland leads it off and goes after the first pitch, lifting a fly ball into right center. And a long run this time. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. Cleveland on his way to second. And he's in with a two-base hit to start the fourth against Wade Davis. Well, we've been joined by Andrew Friedman, the Executive VP of Baseball. And Andrew, I hardly recognized you.
Yeah, understandably so.
You were part of what turns out to be, I think, 71 Rays players and front office staff that had their head shaved today in support of pediatric cancer research. That is, I think that's just a remarkable turnout, number one, and really a great reflection on the organization.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those, solidifying kind of events for everybody, and allows us to rally together, obviously for a great cause and something that, while we can't fully appreciate what those kids are going through, that we can do whatever little part we can to help them any way we can. So,
well, it's recorded for posterity right there.
Very nice.
Way to go.
So it's taking some getting used to, but.
Yep. Well, Stu thought that the guys might be, more aerodynamic and therefore faster on the bases, and I think Sam Poole proved that in the first inning.
I would agree. There's only upside.
Yep. So it's working out.
Right.
Runner at third with one out, and Kevin Franson is the hitter now. Franson has sacrificed and has reached on an error, and the infield pulls up, coming in. Wade Davis here in the fourth. Well, you're in a good situation, it would seem, from here, Andrew, with the club this spring. There's so many springs when teams go to camp hoping they can find another starter, maybe a couple more starters, and you're trying to find space for all the hit him on that pitch, with all the starting pitchers you have.
It is a good situation to be in. When you look back to 2008, through 11, we used a minimum of 7 pitchers, and then 1 year 9. So we appreciate and recognize that how we break camp is not how we're going to finish the season, and things happen, things come up, and having that requisite depth, especially in this division with those razor thin margins, it could absolutely be the difference between playing in October and not.
Yep. Here's Ty Wigginton with men at first and third. Well, you knew at the end of last season, I mean, what made the success possible, I think most people would agree last year, was the fact that the pitching kept this team in games night in and night out. And the one area that you really wanted to address, and there are always a couple of areas, I guess, with every club, was the offense, and you've been able to do that, and to this point, leave the pitching alone. Just leave it where it was.
Yeah, when we set out this offseason and we're looking at what we wanted to accomplish and how to go about it.
It's Brignac starting that one, Rhymes, and over to Pena for the 6-4-3. Double play ends the top of the fourth. Well, we have more, so you've got to stay for the bottom of the fourth.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be back in a moment.
It's a cliffhanger.
4-1 Philadelphia. Welcome back to Charlotte County. We go to the bottom of the fourth with Philadelphia leading the Rays 4-1. Andrew Friedman good enough to join us here for a time this afternoon during the telecast. It's going to be Jeff Keppinger to lead it off, and he's one of those guys that you added. Restus and I have talked about Scott and getting Pena back here, but Keppinger's another guy that you add to not only add depth but some offense to this club.
When we set out this offseason and looked at the areas we wanted to improve, obviously we don't look at things in a vacuum. We look at them, relative to one another and within the context of the group that we have. And so for us, part of our DNA as an offense is we swing and miss some. Now with that comes a lot of other attributes. We have patience at the plate, we have power, we have speed. And so for us, adding power was something that we felt like was critical for that composition of offense. And so that's where Scott and Pena come in, obviously. And with Keppinger, he's got, as good as it gets in terms of ability to make contact. And so with the swing and miss, he fit into our existing group very well. He's got some positional versatility and fits in really well with the personnel that we have. So we were excited to add him as well.
Yeah, I know Scott and Pena will get most of the attention because of the nature of the hitters they are. But Madden told me earlier in the week, as much as he's a big versatility guy and depth through versatility, but he was really impressed by the professional approach as a hitter he sees in Keppinger.
Yeah, he's got incredibly good barrel awareness. He's got an ability to barrel the ball. He doesn't swing and miss very often, and is a good fit for us. I wouldn't necessarily call him a power hitter, but the type of hitter he is, fitting in around the guys that we have that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, he was a great fit for us.
Well, here's another one. Reed Brignac. This young man can play shortstop with the best of them, and needs to contribute offensively to make sure that he gets enough playing time to really help this ball club.
Yeah, I think he'd be the first to tell you that last year was not the proper reflection of who he is as a hitter. And to his credit, he worked extremely hard this offseason. I remember from my office looking out on the field starting in November and seeing him out there working. And so, to his credit, he took it seriously. He went about making the adjustments he needed to make. And so we're all excited to get a chance to watch him this spring. And, he's done well thus far.
4-6 on the out at second. A wide throw to Luna at first. So Keppinger is out. Well, Brignac, if you look at his numbers and even that first at bat he had in this game, I thought they were encouraging. And do you see some of that paying off in him and his approach at the plate?
Yeah, he's not as much up through the ball right now. He's down through the ball more, which is going to be important for him. He's definitely got gap power. He'll run into some and hit some out of the seats, but into the seats. But the point is not having that approach all the time and appreciating the all fields line drive approach, which is what he came up with.
Yeah.
And so I think as you look at last year when we started the year, that was an outcome that we didn't think was all that likely. To do what he did, we felt like he was a much better hitter. His track record suggests a much better hitter than what he was last year. And he got into a funk, and obviously as you're going through, as you're mired in a season, it's tough to make those adjustments. You're fighting for your life, and so he made those adjustments this offseason and really worked hard. And so, again, we're anxious to see him pile up enough at bats to get a feel for the new swing path.
Yeah, and the other thing I think, you take a young player like that, and as you say, he's fighting for his life. But there were times last year with this club in the offense, you wondered, are they going to be able to score a run or not? And playing in the American League East, it's tough. They were last in the East in runs scored. So now you take a guy who like Brignac, and he's trying to not only swim for his own life, but he's trying to help the team. Up, throw down to first, and Molina showing some great footwork, slides in. at first base. He was trying to get a good secondary jump off the bag. And Goswitch took a little toss down there. He got back in. So I guess what we're trying to say about Brignac, he's fighting for his own life, but he also wants to help the team. And so there's an additional pressure put on him. And with the addition of a couple of the hitters you put in the lineup, we're talking about how they're going to help Longoria. Well, they might help a kid like Brignac as well.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you the one thing to Brignac's credit last year is as much as he struggled offensively, he never let it affect his defense. And you touched on, the pitching and what that did for us last year. And a large part of that also is our defense. It's kind of the invisible hand. It's hard to really appreciate unless you watch us play every day. And the amount of pitches we save, which allows our starters to go deeper into games, which keeps our bullpen more rested. It's a very difficult thing to put your finger on exactly the type of impact. It's easy to look at a pitcher and say he's got a 3.2 ERA. He won 14 games. That's easy to do. Defensively, it's much harder. And so for us, we wanted to improve our offense while maintaining our defense, because it would have been easy to improve our offense. Take out some of the good defenders we have, add some offense, and then give up more than we get. And so that obviously wasn't something we were willing to do. So I think we did a pretty good job of adding some offense without taking away defense. And it's something that we're anxious to see what that yields in terms of run scoring this year.
Yeah, I think it'll work out. Geyer out to right field, 2 gone, with Molina still at first and Brignac at second. And here's Rhymes facing the left-hander Percy. Pitch wide. Well, sitting here and hearing you break that out, it just occurred to me that, this is a thinking man's game after all, isn't it?
It is behind the scenes, that's for sure.
It's great. That's one of the things I think that makes the game such a great game, because that's one of the elements of this game beyond what you see in front of you all the time, and yet it's such an important part of what winds up out there on the field in front of you.
Absolutely, and beyond that it's incredible how much we learn year over year over year, and that's what else is great about this game is it's endless. The amount of information, the amount of knowledge that one can get from this game is really endless.
Yeah, you never know it all, that's for sure. The pitch is down, 3-0. And that, and the fact that no 2 games are ever alike. And in the history of the game, one game has never been replicated.
That is for sure.
2 men on. And Rhymes faces the lefty, takes that pitch in there for a strike.
The gratuitous strike call.
There it is. And that and that's the other thing about this game. Everything is quantified and researched, and that is exactly what you said. 3-0.
Just get in the vicinity.
Yeah, and it's a strike. And history and research bears that out. Rhymes walks to load the bases, and here comes the even faster Sam Fole than he's ever been before.
More aerodynamic.
Yep. He's up with the bases loaded now. He has walked and has bunted his way on. He has a run scored.
I think he went from an 8 3/4 hat to an 8 1/2. So we're moving in the right direction.
Jeff Neiman was concerned that he may no longer be 6'9".
I think that's more of a concern for me.
Pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the speedy Sam Fole. Well, he's been one of those guys who, acquiring him from the Cubs, kind of a way under the radar guy. But when you see him, you understand the value that he brings to a club and the things that he can contribute.
Yeah, we'd actually been trying to get him for the past couple of years. And again, he's a guy with really good contact skills. And so, again, fits in well, with the overall, layout of our roster and the defense and base running and ability to handle the bat, ability to face both sides, both right and left, and not being as sensitive to platoon splits. Someone that we felt like was a really interesting player, and we got him in last year, and he fit in extremely well.
2-0 didn't hurt that he got off to a great start either.
It did not hurt.
Well, the Rays trying to push a run or two across here in the bottom of the 4th. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And that will run the count to 2-1. The other guy we haven't talked much about here today, but certainly Will is a guy at second base now, Molina, and what he could mean to this pitching staff.
Yeah, we, obviously when you look back to last year, we won 91 games, but if you look at the production offensively.
Full lifts a high fly ball to right. Montanez will go back, front of the track, make the catch to retire the side. A lot to talk about. We've got a whole season to do it.
Look forward to it.
Me too. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Dwayne.
All right. Joe Madden will be joining us when we return. It's 4-1 Philadelphia.
On the next
Charlotte County, we're headed into the 5th inning. 4-1. The Phillies lead the Rays. Kyle Farnsworth's going to be the new pitcher for the Rays, and Joe Madden is good enough to join us from the dugout.
Hey, buddy.
And Skip, nice to see you and spend some time here with you. I'll tell you, it's number one. Congratulations on winning that Manager of the Year award.
Thank you.
I think what you and this organization, we just talked with Andrew Friedman, has done, going to the postseason 3 out of 4 years, just outstanding. And to come into camp and basically there are a lot of people saying this could be the best club you've ever had, and your response to that is let's get it on.
Great. I mean, exactly. It's the expectation level has been raised, and that's a good thing. You remember back in 2006 and 7, there were hardly any expectations at all at that time. So to come into camp under these circumstances, the fact we got so many good players back, of course, the young starting pitching, the bullpen is as thick as it's been. And all of that, I think the expectations obviously have come up, and we're good with that. I don't want us to run away from that stuff. I want us to embrace that. We've worked very hard to get into this position. So let's just go and let's see what happens.
Steve Sussdorf will lead it off here against Kyle Farnsworth. Well, Andrew Friedman was just with us, and we talked about this club. Hot shot. That skips past Pena. And Sussdorf has his first hit. So he jumped on the very first delivery from Farnsworth. You know, we've talked about the makeup of this club and what's happened so far this spring and spring, but you've consistently continued to get pretty good pitching.
Yeah.
And you're still looking for a little offense.
Yeah, we've actually played really well. We're just not hitting right now. When you get down 4-1 in a game like this, it's kind of difficult because on a daily basis we have pitched well. We've made a couple mistakes on defense. That's a play Carlos can make, even though it was hit hard, and even the one he kept at third base. We've pretty much held up to our defensive standards. We haven't had a chance to run the bases. There just haven't been that many guys out there. But that's all going to flip. I mean, my biggest concern is to get the work in. The work has been exemplary. The guys come out. You don't have to push them to work. They want to work either on the field or in the clubhouse with KB and the boys inside, Rodney Porterfield. The coaches are really engaged. They're into it. I'm very pleased with the overall mechanics of the spring. Right now, we're just not hitting the ball like we can.
You know, I hear, I think managers and hitting coaches and pitching coaches say, a pitching coach might say to a guy who struggles early in the spring, well, I'm really more interested in the last 5 outings maybe than the first 5, or the last 2 or 3 starts than the first 2 or 3 starts. Is that realistic to try to evaluate a team in the spring as well?
Well, I think as you get deeper or closer, like you say in the beginning of the season, you want to see a more consistent performance. When part of it is you're playing so many different guys out of position, a lot of people that may not be on your regular team, a lot of minor leaguers up until this point. So that's always, you're always at your 1-loss record primarily at this time of the year is pretty much at the mercy of your JV team. And so to this point so far, we just haven't hit like we have in the past, although we've had a pretty good 9th inning once in a while. So as the camp gets deeper and you get more of your regular guys out there consistently and they get familiar with one another in the batting order, running the bases, all that kind of stuff, then you're going to start getting a better feel for the group, which I feel really good about. So we just got to get guys, you know, you saw what happened yesterday with BJ and Desmond in the outfield.
Up the middle, and a nice pickup right there by Brignac, and a pick at first by Pena to complete the double play with Sustorf, the runner at first, breaking on the pitch, and a nifty double play turned right there.
That's fortuitous for us because otherwise Reed's not going towards the bag. It's a hit and run. He's breaking, and all of a sudden it turns into 2 outs. Beautiful.
And some nice glove work, as it turns out, on both ends. You know, we opened the telecast, and of course with Wade Davis pitching, one of the focus points would be the competition in the rotation, and primarily it would seem that it would be Davis and Neiman. You know, is there a scenario where both those guys might stick around in the rotation?
Well, we also included Matt Moore in that. When we had our meetings with everybody as the beginning of camp, we talked about all the possible scenarios with all of these guys. So we're just going to let it play out. Then at the end of this camp, or towards the end of this camp, we're just going to try to make a decision based on what everybody's saying and determine who's the best 5 to start, and maybe somebody might have to fold back into the bullpen. So as of right now, it's too early to make all those calls. But the biggest point is, and the thing that I like that we do, is we make our guys aware of this. There's no guessing. They know what's going on. Every one of these guys that are involved in this moment know exactly what's going on. And so they could approach the day openly regarding my conversations with them or anybody else. It could be an open and honest conversation because they know exactly where they stand and what's going on. And I think that's one thing that we do that really helps facilitate this entire spring training situation when it can be awkward for some players.
In regard to what you've seen out of all 3, would they be at this stage of the spring pretty much on schedule as to what you would expect?
Kind of, yeah. I think just Wade really needs to get the command issues down a little bit. I mean, overall throwing the ball pretty much as normal. And with Jeffrey, he was really outstanding the other day, and so was Matt. So primarily, everybody looks kind of normal, except I'd like to see Wade pick up his command a bit.
Okay, Joe, we appreciate you taking the time to spend with us.
My pleasure, brother. Always great times. Thank you.
And I like to do.
Thank you very much.
Right.
I appreciate your help today, this morning with our hair cutting.
Happy to do it.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
See you, man.
Rays continue to trail the Phillies 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning here. Organize a group of your family, friends, and co-workers to enjoy Rays baseball, and you can earn rewards such as free Rays tickets an Evan Longoria autographed baseball, a catered suite, and much more. And if you're into being the group leader, there's a group leader rewards program allowing you to earn rewards when you bring a group to Tropicana Field. For information, visit raysbaseball.com/group leader or call 727-825-3406. Scott Ellerton will be the new pitcher, a veteran right-hander who is trying to make a comeback after the last couple of years essentially out of the game. He follows Pinheiro and Percy, who each threw 2 innings. The Rays got their run in the first off Pinheiro. And they got 2 hits and a run off him. No runs, a hit, a couple of walks, 2 strikeouts with Percy in there. And here's Luke Scott. Swinging and missing, strike 1.
Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
Might try to get the fireballer come and talk with us here in a little bit.
All right. Just let us know.
Farnsworth is already done. He threw nicely, and might get the man to come visit with us a little bit. I think that bullpen, just like last year, is such an integral part for any team. But it was suspect last year, and he really solidified it. So hopefully we'll be seeing the same again from Kyle.
That's a strike to Scott. The count is 1-2. Jeff Salazar is on deck. He is taken over in right field for Joyce. And then Pena due. Scott takes it the other way with the infield shifted around to the right side. That'll be an extra base hit for Luke Scott. They had Wigginton, the third baseman, all the way over the normal shortstop spot, and Scott found that empty position and shot it through the left side and up the line for a double.
And you know, in the last half inning, Dwayne, he was working on something, and you could tell that he was trying to stay in more with his shoulder. Here in the dugout as he's DHing, I saw him kind of walking around the dugout and kind of mimicking his swing and trying to almost drive the ball to left, because early on in spring, when you haven't hit much, you tend to spin a lot. So you're trying to keep your body from spinning, and right there, that's the hit he wanted to hit right there.
Now here's Salazar bunting and trying to get it over the pitcher's head. He does, and there's nobody to cover first. Everybody is safe with Scott hanging on at second. And Salazar bunting his way on with a little bloop bunt over Ellerton's head. So how about that? I think here's Ellerton entering the game, and they've got a shift on for Scott. He defeats the shift, and now Salazar bunts one over the pitcher's head.
And Salazar he's pleased. As I looked at him getting to first base, he was kind of looked at Coach Hendricks, and he's like, man, I didn't do it just right, because he really, more importantly, wanted to move the runner over to third. But since he kind of popped it up, it was a smart move by Luke Scott to hold on and make sure that the big kid Ellerton doesn't make a dramatic play, which he didn't.
And so here's Carlos Pena looking for his first hit. Carlos 0 for 2 on the day. And the pitch sweeps down and in. A ball, no strikes. Salazar at first and Scott at second. Takes a big cut right there. So the count is 1-1.
Toughest thing for a big bop or a big power hitter early in camp, early in spring training, is not only see the ball, hit the ball, but you know that you're not just trying to field the ball, you're trying to drive the ball. So it's a little bit more work for the big guys. And a check swing, foul ball. It's 1-2, and he faces Ellerton.
who has not pitched in the big leagues since 2008. And he has survived a round or two of cuts in the Philly camp. And the general expectation is that he would go to their AAA club at Lehigh Valley, which will be again managed by Ryan Sandberg this year. Sandberg coaching third base today. There's a little looper up the right side. That's a fair ball, or is it foul? Boy, that came close to being in there. Just foul. Would have been on the fist of Carlos Pena, and he was strong enough to hit it up the right field line. There aren't many hitters going to even hit the ball that far, and it just missed being fair. So he'll come back, but he came close to picking up maybe an extra base hit and at least a run batted in there. No chance that Montañez was going to get over there. No time. That pitch is down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Phillies have 9 hits. The Rays have 5. Ellerton, the third Philadelphia pitcher. And about all you see is his number if you're in the batter's box with his delivery out of the stretch this way. Trying to delay the ability of the hitter to pick up the pitch as late as possible. Scott second, Salazar first. Pena with a full count, Keppinger on deck. And Pena draws the walk. That loads the bases.
Great at bat right there, Dwayne. That was a good quality at bat for a power hitter, man on scoring position, and he's trying to get his work in. He got his work in right there. That was good by Carlos. That's a win for him right now. I do got the big man with me.
All right.
I've got the one and only Kyle Farnsworth, the closer, who is a closer but is not named a closer, but to me he's the closer. Kyle, good job. You went out there, you get that 1 inning in. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. Arm strength isn't there yet, but that's going to come along for a couple more rounds of spring. So I'm just trying to go out there and miss those strikes.
And last year, I mean, such an important role that you played. It was a kind of a questionable bullpen. Didn't know how things. A lot of new guys. I mean, they revamped it, and really, you kind of solidified that thing with the way that you pitched throughout the whole year. How do you look this year, compared to coming into spring last year?
The same way. I'm just going to go out there and try to, compete with everybody out here. I think that's what we did in the bullpen last year, compete against each other. And I think that's what brought out the best in everybody. And I mean, we all rooted for each other down there, and just go out there and just have fun.
What do you see your role, though? I mean, you definitely were closing games, and I think that to me was a testament for your preparation coming into last year. Do you don't mind? You don't care? Just give me the ball whenever it is time.
Yeah, I consider myself a pitcher. So I'll let Joe tell me what to do. So I'll go out there and take the ball whenever he calls my name. So I mean, you have to be mentally prepared and physically, whenever that will be. So that's what I try to go in day in and day out and try to do.
Jim Hickey obviously plays a big role here as a really exceptional pitching coach in the major leagues. What is his mantra, really?
I think he just mainly just tries to let every pitcher. Oh, we got one man. So.
There you go. Give me a little color there. Not only can this guy close, but he can give a little color in that sacrifice fly. There you go, and the high fives. Wow, I love this live TV with you. But lastly, what does Jim Hickey bring to the table?
As far as all the video and homework and stuff we have, I mean, he has that constantly. I mean, you have to use all that, and he lets guys go out there and believe in themselves and go out there and pitch the way they're designed to pitch, not try to change really what anybody's supposed to do. compare me to Helly, he wouldn't try to have me go out there and try to throw a changeup, but I might have one working, never know. But, everybody has their own things, and that's what he's good about, and go out there and, work with everybody in a different way.
Well, the guy that I call the Rock, I think you're my closer, but the closer who's not a closer, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go, Dwayne.
All right, thank you, and thanks to Kyle Farnsworth, who has an inning under his belt today. Got an inning of work in, followed Wade Davis to the mound. Davis worked the front four. 1 strike to count to Reed Brignac. The Rays have closed the gap. It's a 4-2 ball game now, and Brignac hits a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Salazar heads to the plate, so does the throw, and it is not in time. Salazar scores on the base hit to right. Pena goes to third. Brignac's RBI single makes it a 1-run ball game. Reed's second hit of the day. Brignac came in hitting .333 for the spring and got that one just through the right side of the infield. Salazar beat the throw by Montañez.
Well, Dwayne, you asked Joe about the offense, and I think you woke him up a little bit here. So we're getting a little bit of that offense, good hitting, and also good base on balls that you got from Carlos Pena with the first and second not trying to do too much.
Yeah, that's a great point. How a good at bat that draws a walk and keep that inning going, and that's exactly what happened there. Here's Molina now. He's going to bunt, and Pena coming down that line. There's Molina, if he pulls that off, will fit right in with Joe Maddon's style of play.
Well, one of the things about Jose that you might see is that, the most at bats he's ever had, around 260, 270 back in 09 with the Yankees when he played or participated in about 100 games. He may break that. I mean, you may see Jose, hopefully a healthy Jose, getting up over 300 at bats for the first time in his nice career. So I'm hoping that we get to see him drive some runs in.
And here's the bunt attempt. He missed it. So it's a 1-run game now, and with runners at first and third and 1 out, Madden thinking he might have been able to get that run home to tie this game with that first and third bunt play. Right now, Molina down in the count, however, 2 strikes now. And he's got the bunt. He puts it down the line. Comes Pena, and he's in there to tie the game. Ball loose. Brignac will go to third, and so the Rays playing vintage Rays ball there. And with 2 strikes, they kept the bunt on, and Pena scores from third on the Molina bunt.
Dwayne, I wonder if that was so much that he kept the bunt on, or more Jose Molina saying, you know what, I messed it up twice. I'm going to show you I can do this. It is spring training, and I'm going to work on it. And if I mess up, it's still spring training. So Jose worked on it. Here it is. Maybe he did have it on because the guy at third really was just taking a big lead. Yeah, and Jose executed. Great job.
Yeah, that guy from third, it's an interesting timing situation for the runner at third when the Rays do have that play on. And I think just a great job by Molina to stay with it. Whether they kept it on or he decided to keep it on himself. But that runner always will be, I mean, if you're going to be a base runner on the Rays, you're going to have to pay attention all the time. And I think that's a great example of it right there, to get a good break on the bunt. And he got sort of a nice hop on the bunt, too, that made it a difficult play. So a run batted in, it'll go as a sacrifice. And the Rays get a man not only into scoring position, but Brignac winds up at third when the ball got away, so there'll be an error on that play. And it's first and third with Brandon Geyer up there, and he puts down a bunt and rolls it foul. And that's the beauty of that play, and the thing that Madden loves about it. If it's executed perfectly, there's very little the defense can do, and it's a rare occasion when you execute that play perfectly that you get anything except a run out of it. We have seen it once or twice where The Rays have not gotten a run, but boy, they love that play and work on it. And Geyer was thinking about the same thing right there with only 1 out in the inning.
And that's Joe Madden, who is the American League manager who plays a lot of time the National League baseball style, because we see that definitely more on the National League side than we do in the American League side. But it works so well, and you're right. Every player on 1 through 9 or even in the dugout and has to be ready to execute that play, whether it's a base path or a hitter.
Geyer takes it close, 3-1. So what this turns out to be a Rays rally, truly in the style of play that Joe Madden and the Rays love to play. And with the additions of the bats that we talked about earlier, when they start to show that power, that's just an added dimension what this club can do. Down to third, out at second, and out at first around the horn. 5-4-3 to retire the side. But the Rays put up a 3 spot. We're through 5, tied 4-4.
The official show of Action Sports.
Rays have tied this game 4-4. We move into the 6th inning. Baseball is back in Port Charlotte, and you can catch the Rays throughout the spring as they're pitted against the likes of the Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, and other clubs. Tickets start at just $7 for select games. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or go to RaysBaseball.com. Well, the Rays with a Rays rally in the bottom of the 5th. It's now 4-4. Cesar Ramos will come on as the third Rays pitcher of the day. He follows Wade Davis and Kyle Farnsworth. And we're happy to have the Rays president, Matt Silverman, join us. And Matt, you look like everybody else now.
Well, we are one team, aren't we?
I'll tell you, we looked at the numbers of participants. 71 players and staff members, and the whole organization is involved in one way or another. As president of the team, I mean, you want to see this team win 100 games every year, but things like that really reflect that this organization's
it does. There was only one notable exclusion, and I'm sitting right next to him.
Yeah, but I did that because it was going to take way too much time, and scissors would have been dulled, equipment broken trying to do that. Here's the first pitch to Orr, and he takes it in there for a strike.
I heard lots of excuses today, so that's a good one.
That's well.
It really is a statement about the organization and the unity and how everyone seems to support each other in what they do. Here was a great cause with pediatric cancer. We are big supporters of Moffitt Cancer Center. They do incredible work in our area. Each player seems to have a cause that they feel strongly about, and it's great to see that others in the organization will pitch in for them.
2 strikes the count to Orr, and a hot shot past Keppinger and into left for a base hit. Well, it will be here before we know it. Spring training is almost halfway over now, and opening day against the Yankees at Tropicana Field on the 6th, right around the corner. And the enthusiasm for that opening series before the Rays hits the road, the enthusiasm level is great.
Yeah, it really is. And it's great to have that sellout early. I think it was the earliest sellout we've had since 2009. Coming off the World Series year, that second game is going to sell out, and it's tickets are already starting to dwindle. It's going to be a great opening series, great way to start the season, and to have that energy back in Tropicana Field and see what these guys can do against the Yankees. And that's what we're going to have to do all year, is go up against the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and the rest of the American League.
It occurred to me the other day that, and it's just a matter of fact, that in the East you're going to play clubs like the Red Sox and the Yankees, and it's no secret that they can afford to make a mistake once in a while, and they can afford a much higher payroll. But if you factor them in now, and you factor the Angels, and with what the Marlins are spending, that's over. I think that's over 50% of the schedule will be played against teams that might have payrolls that are almost 3-to-1.
Yeah, it's the numbers are staggering. What other teams are able to spend, and just puts the focus on what we do and having to spend wisely and shrewdly and make sure that we get the most out of our dollars, and that these guys enjoy being Rays. They want to be Rays, and in some cases take a little bit less money to be a Ray because they enjoy this organization, they enjoy playing for Joe Madden, and they're unified, trying to take on the big beasts of the East.
And they've done quite well. Thank you very much. Over the last 4 seasons, going to the postseason in 3 out of those 4. We've had a chance throughout the day to talk with Joe Madden and with Andrew Friedman, and it'd be interesting to get your take, because I think the club's done a great job of adding pieces to this team where there was a need for that, and not give up the strength of this team, and that basically is pitching.
Yeah, and once you give up that strength, it's really hard to get it back. So you have to be very judicious in the way that you deal from strength, because it very quickly can turn into a weakness, or you lose that depth very quickly. And it's great to have that starting pitching depth, and really high quality starting pitching depth. A couple guys we've added are going to be big parts of this team, and you're seeing a little bit of Keppinger's versatility in the last couple of days, playing different spots in the diamond. A great right-handed bat to have against left-handed pitching, especially.
See, Pena has room, and reaching in, could not get that mitt in the proper spot to make that catch.
Yeah, Carlos Pena coming back certainly fills a big hole for us, and with Luke Scott and his bat and what he can bring, the offense is going to be more potent, and that's what we need. But to go along with the pitching, we need that potent offense.
Of course, the outset, the idea is to win the division. The Rays last year on the last day of the regular season, that great 162 game to win the wild card. Down to second, Rhymes with a nice pickup and feed to start the 4-6-3 double play, and then he races the leadoff single of Pete Orr. The bases are empty with 2 gone. Wild card. The club goes in on the wild card. It's expanded this year. Something you like, I would think, or not?
We like, but there's a little bit of cautiousness going into it, because if you are that first wild card team, you're penalized because you're not going to have to play that play-in game or that first round game. So it all depends on how it goes. It's good for baseball. It's going to bring more excitement to August and September. Keep more teams in it, and that first game is going to be great. We had a version of it in a way with game 162 last year, and the specialness of that night wouldn't have been there without the playoffs the way they were constructed last year. But we're looking forward to see what it does, and it really puts a premium on winning the division. It's something that we want to do. We've done it a couple times, and if you do that, you set yourself up even better for the postseason. And I like that. I like that there's a reward for the division. I just wish that we didn't always have the Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays in our division all the time with the schedule the way it's unbalanced.
Is that something we might look toward, a more balanced schedule as a real possibility?
I'd like for it to get more balanced. I think it would be good for competition, especially when you're looking at competing against other teams across the league for the wild card. Something's going to have to change next year. when Houston comes into the league and you have the 15-team leagues. So the schedule is going to have to change. I hope it becomes more balanced, but I've heard that it might stay the same or could possibly become even more imbalanced and have an extra game against your own division.
You know, I took a look at some of the history of the wild card the other day, thinking about that, and it really speaks to a need for balance in the schedule. 17 years of the wild card. So 17 wild cards from the American League. 13 of those 17 have come from the American League East. So that tells you,
yeah,
wouldn't balance be a good thing?
Balance would be a good thing, although the balance we're looking for would keep the American League East in that wild card. You know, it just goes to show the quality of this division and what we're up against, and the type of ball that we have to play in order to get the wins to get into the wild card. And it may be a little bit easier than someone in the Central or the West in the schedule they face, but it changes. Over time, it changes. The American League seems to have more of the dominant players than the National League, but you could look 5-7 years down the road, it could be very different.
Yep. Full count here to Cleveland. 2 outs with the bases empty. A 4-4 ball game. Hey, how about the replay? You know, they've tabled that for a little while. You like that or not?
I'm more of a purist. There's a place for replay, but I personally don't want it to be too invasive in the game.
Yeah, there's Salazar making the catch on the fly ball by Cleveland. And that takes care of the Phillies in the top of the 6th. Well, Matt, it's always great to be with you. You have business. You just stick around for another half.
I'll stick around for another half.
All right, good. We head to the bottom of the 6th. 4-4 tie. Phillies tied 4-4. Happy to have Matt Silverman in the booth with us. Matt, we're talking about postseason and the extra wild card and the play-in and how difficult that is sometimes. You know, whether it's one game or more than that, both have their challenges.
Yeah, they do. We were talking about how that second wild card team might be able to coast in. The first wild card team might be playing right up until the end for that division title, fall short, and now they're depleted going into that play-in game. So it changes things up, but that's always the way it is. You know, there are some teams that have rested their players down the stretch before, and they've been satisfied with the wild card, or said they've been satisfied with the wild card and not had the division because there hasn't been a premium for the division. So you adjust to the circumstances and you play all 162.
Yeah, and there would be a little more premium to it now. The pitch to Rhymes is inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Sam Fold due to hit second in this inning, and then Luke Scott, who is the DH. Scott Ellerton back out there on the mound. Pitch is chopped foul, and the count is 1-1. Well, another thing the Rays do really well, and we talked about supporting the community today as they did with the fundraiser, and Bald is now bold here for pediatric cancer research today. But the other thing they've received attention for is the marketing end of what they do, and some of the premium items that they come up with, and that's going to continue this year.
Yeah, we always have a fun promotional calendar, and this year we're not going to disappoint. You know, the one that seemed to make the biggest headlines was the Zim Bear, and I think that may go down as the most popular one, and in Ray's history.
Yeah, there it is, right there on the bottom.
And it's a scary-looking guy. We thought about it as a Sunday kids giveaway, but we didn't want to scare the children, so we moved it to a Friday night, and it's more of an adult toy. And
that's really cool.
And then, you know, the Longoria walk-off figure, and there's him getting his head shaved. There wasn't much to shave, but at least he participated.
Well,
and, yeah.
Man, you know, the Zim Bear, he's coming out of hibernation, so he had to clean up some of the extra hair that, you know, that during hibernation.
No, I think it's going to improve his time to first base. You know, he's a little more aerodynamic. And
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's great to see him around. You know, he's just such a wealthy source of wisdom for us, and someone who just brings his experience and can tell so many great tales. I know Joe really appreciates having him around, and you know, the Bear is going to continue to receive national attention. You got the Longoria walk-off figurine, that just another way to capture that incredible moment that we all had. And you know, in addition to that, the Jeremy Hellickson figurine. I continue to have some figurines, and we'll roll out the T-shirts like we've done in the past on Friday nights. You know, you can come away with a great item when you come to a game. Sundays, obviously, with the Tampa Bay Times Family Fun Day, the kid giveaways.
Yeah, and a great kickoff to the concert series as well. So we're looking forward to all of that. It will be a lot of fun. I'm fired up because ZZ Top is part of that day. So that'll be great. Luke Scott takes a pitch down, and then, by the way, Sam Full continues to impress with his speed so much that on what turned out to be more or less a swinging bunt, the Phillies didn't even try to get him at first. They knew they had no shot since he had his head shaved.
The Super Sam doesn't even need to get the ball out of the infield to get on base.
Yep. He's back in at first base, 1 on, 1 out. Well, it certainly has been a remarkable run here for this club, and to come from the starting point that it did to this, and there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot to be humble for, and yet a lot to be proud of as well.
A lot to be proud of, and one of the things that we're most proud of is you know, the fact that we, as a management team, as a leadership team, have been together for 7 years or so now. Look at it on the business side too, with our executive team, our vice presidents. They've also been there for 7 years, and so with that consistency of leadership, we've been able to really develop great partnerships in the community, really dig deep roots into the community, and that's where you see some of those programs that we have with the Rays Baseball Foundation. And then, you know, the continuity with Andrew and Joe is something that is very rare in baseball. I think they're the second longest tenured combo. To have that, and to have the relationship, the strength of that relationship that's only getting stronger, it's one of the advantages that we have, and one of the ways that we can continue to be successful.
Yeah, there's really something to the point. I love talking with both those guys about it, and they'll be just right up front. They'll have open disagreements and comfortable with that, and then come to the resolution that of any point where they need to make it, which is great. That's the ideal situation.
Well, that is when you check your ego at the door, and you're all working for what's in the best interest of the organization. You end up having those types of conversations. You can have the give and take. You can disagree, and then you come to a decision and you move on.
Yeah, and if you're president of a team like that, with guys like that working for you, all you have to do is go to the office, put your feet up on the desk, and say, hey, go ahead.
That's exactly what I do. I'm certainly not golfing, if you've ever seen me golf, but yeah, just put my feet up on the desk and
that's it,
and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you and I are in the same league when it comes to golfing. There's just no point in me going out there, and I can't imagine you could be any worse than that. Here is Salazar lifting a fly ball to right. Montañez is there, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Matt, great to be with you here. Enjoyed it, as always.
Great to see you.
Okay.
And I'll see you as we get ready to opening day.
We will march that way. Tie ball game. We're headed to the 7th. It's 4-4. We go to the 7th inning with the Rays and the Philadelphia Phillies tied 4-4. Let's take a look at our Southeast Toyota road ahead when it comes to interleague play this year, and a very good slate of games. Atlanta, the Rays will take on the Braves in May. It leads the, or at least leads off the array of interleague opponents. Juan Pierre takes the first pitch from Cesar Ramos for a strike. Ramos worked the 6th inning, working the 7th now, to ground ball to short. And Pierre is out of there. 6-3. It's Tim Beckham now playing shortstop, the young infielder. So he has taken over here for Brignac in the 7th inning. Steve Vogt will be the new catcher, taking over for Molina. And Matt Mangini is the new first baseman. Wholesale changes for the Rays, and we'll get to all of those as this inning progresses. 1 out with the bases empty. Kevin Franson, sacrifice, reached on an error and has been hit by a pitch today.
Okay.
1-1 the count to Franson. Fastball is down. Pitch in around 92 from Ramos. 2-1. And it's now 3-1. Three and 1 the count. It's a nice pitch there at 3-1 and about in front. So the count is full. Top half of the 7th. A little tap foul. So the count is full. Oh, I know that you're busy down there in the Rays dugout.
Tom Foley's messing with me over here because, you know, this guy's back from Palmetto High. I don't know these basketball players.
Well, hey, I see Sam Foley's with you, and the fact that you have him, no one else could catch him. He's so fast today.
I tell you what, and I think it's right here. See, there it is. It's the aerodynamics of the charity that they did today. And after this ground ball out right here, we'll visit with Sammy. Sammy, great job. How you feeling so far this spring?
I feel good. It's good to get back out there. Missed the first few days. But it's awesome to get back out and swing of things.
Well, today was the epitome of your game. I mean, sans maybe a diving catch up against the wall somewhere. Offensively, you did all the things that you normally kind of do. You tried to push the ball. In fact, you were able to work on a little left-handed, with the lefty bunt. I'm sure that's something you wanted to work on. And the speed was there. I thought it was a great offensive game for you.
Yeah, it was a tiring day. A lot of steals on foul balls. I definitely got my conditioning in, but it was nice. Yeah, I think one of the things I'm looking to do this spring is work on my bunting, so it's nice to get a couple base hits.
Well, keep it up, brother. I hope you stay healthy, and we'll be seeing a lot of Sam Fold on the base paths. We'll be right back after these innings. Stay with us.
The decision
been brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer for great deals on the amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. Middle of the 7th inning with the Rays and the Phillies tied. It's a 4-4 ball game. Rays scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th to pull even. They'll see a new pitcher here in the bottom of the 7th. Jeremy Horst, a tall lefty, the 4th pitcher of the day, employed by Pete Mackanin, who's managing the Philadelphia Phillies as part of their split squad effort today. So the Rays got 3 runs off Ellerton in 2 innings. Pinheiro worked 2 to start. Their first run came against him. Percy worked 2 scoreless innings. Chris Jimenez is going to lead it off here for the Rays, getting his first trip to the plate in this game. And he takes the pitch for a strike. He's playing third base now and hitting in the spot originally occupied by Carlos Pena. And he shoots a line drive into left. That's in there for a base hit, knocked down. Jimenez going to go for 2, and the throw is going to be there in time. He's out at second base. Moore put the tag on him, and that was a nice throw from left field to get Jimenez. A base hit, and now trying to go to second. Now Stephen Vogt, who just came into the game to catch for the Rays. The Rays like his bat. He's had limited time behind the plate in the minor leagues, but as the Rays look to add a catching companion to Jose Molina, you would have to be considered in that battle right now, as Robinson Chirino suffered a concussion Monday when he was struck in the mask on a foul ball, and that's going to slow his progress. Jose Lobaton battling for a spot, and Vogt with a base hit through the right side. Boy, that's one thing he really does, is swing the bat. His progress in the minor leagues was slowed because of shoulder surgery at one point, but boy, he has hit wherever he's been, and the Rays cannot discount that.
Dwayne, I'll tell you what, I've been very impressed with this kid. The way his approaches have been at bat, and also I talked to Derek Shelton about him a couple of days ago, and he said that this guy's a real quality hitter. He's not just some big, young, burly kid that can maybe pop one. He really knows what he's doing up there and what he's trying to do.
It's Tim Beckham now, and the pitch is a strike. Yeah, and I think as a result of that, he is in the race to try to make this team as a catcher along with Molina. I think the only thing that might work against him is that lack of experience in the minor leagues. I think they would, at the very least, they'd love to see him go to the minor leagues and catch a lot, because of the guy who has a bat like he has. And if he turns out to be able to catch and do a nice job back there, he's going to get some serious time in the major leagues as a result of that.
Well, no better mentor, whatever point it is, if he makes the team or later on in the year gets called up, than Jose Molina, to try to mentor this kid as to the ins and outs and what to do. And remember, they're both big body guys, because it's one of the type of things that a big guy can teach another big burly guy how to move behind the plate, and how to frame, and how to call a game.
Sure, you're absolutely right about that. Beckham chases a pitch up and is out on strikes. Well, the young infielder is the second out of the inning. Beckham is an interesting case, and we didn't get a lot of time to talk about him. But last year, dividing time between Montgomery and Durham, the Rays think he really took a step in the right direction. And he's just now at the age where he would be if he had been a college player coming out of college. So we'll see what happens with him. But here's Feliciano, who's in the game in the outfield now, hitting in Molina's spot. And although Beckham was a strikeout victim here, the Rays are happy with the steps he's taken over the last year plus in the minor leagues.
Well, and another thing that we haven't really talked about, again, it is early. Season hasn't even started, so it's kind of too early to start talking about July trade deadline type stuff, Dwayne. But there's so many young, talented kids down there that if there is a need, an emergency need, I mean, you know, there is one that you might consider.
Feliciano with a chop to third. Throw to second to Orr in time, and that retires the side. So we'll head into the 8th inning with the Rays and the Phillies tied 4-4. We're through 7. On to the 8th inning we go. Rays and the Phillies meeting this afternoon. Phillies jumped to a 4-1 lead, and the Rays scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th to tie this game. So it's a 4-4 contest right now. Wade Davis started for the Rays. He gave up 4 runs in 4 innings on 8 hits. Davis, Farnsworth, and Ramos have pitched for the Rays, and now Sanchez comes on. Ramos worked 2 innings, gave up 1 hit. And Steve Sussdorf will be the first man to face Sanchez. Fly ball into left. Kuhn started in. The ball goes over his head, and Sussdorf will wind up at second base. Well, the first step by Kuhn, who just entered the game in left, with Feliciano moving over to play center field. And Kuhn had that first step betray him there, and the ball and the wind is blowing out that way a little bit as well, and so it really took off over his head. Martinez takes the first pitch, and that's in there for a strike. tie game, and the Phillies put the potential lead run in scoring position. Sussdorf credited with a double. Swing down to third. Jimenez makes the throw to first to Mangini, and Sussdorf moves over to third. Martinez is retired for the first out. And the hitter's going to be Hector Luna. Romulo Sanchez out of Venezuela. He has seen some big league time. It's a foul ball and a strike, the infield in. He spent a little time with the Pirates and got into a couple of games a couple of years ago with the New York Yankees. Upstairs, snap throw down to third and back into Sussdorf.
That's a big boy on the mound right there.
Yes, it is.
That
He's
is a big boy. No joke.
A ball and 2 strikes. Pretty good pitch right there.
Well, that's what a big boy does to you. I mean, a guy that you know that comes throwing hard and then has a lot of arms and body coming out at you, and then you drop a little nice little slider, or you mix in a sinker and it gets you way off.
2-2. Nice job by Vogt to dig that pitch out.
They say that this kid has really come along defensively. We were talking about it, you and I, D, about if he could come along, you know, exponentially defensively, because the bat's pretty darn good. So if he's got an arm, you know, and he can learn a little bit of the footwork, it could be a great mentoring, you know, work in progress at the big league level with a guy like Molina. If it wasn't like a guy like Molina, then I'd have more trepidation. But, you know, wow, how quickly he could learn from a Jose Molina.
Well, he drove in 100 runs in the minor leagues last year, and has hit wherever he's been.
Everywhere. Led the league in hitting in the Florida State League, which is a hot league, as a catcher or, you know, power guy to hit 345. I played in that league, man. That league will wear you down. You know, again, it's A league compared to pitching, you know, facing major league pitching, but a hitter's a hitter. I think you could pretty much say when you see a kid up there like that he's got something going on pretty positive.
Into left center field by Orr. That's going to be in for a base hit. Brad Kuhn cuts it off, but the go-ahead run scores. Throw into second. Orr beats the throw there. Luna stopped at third. Sussdorf has scored on the double by Orr, and it's 5-4 Philadelphia. A couple of hits and a walk. And the Phillies have a 1-run lead with 2 more men in scoring position and only 1 out.
How do you see this Phillies team this year? Surprisingly, they were not very offensive last year.
Yeah, and you know, you really have to believe, all that with Ryan Howard suffering a little bit of a setback, and you know, they were hoping they could get him back by June. Might still, but you know, he had some infection involving the wound around that Achilles problem. They said the tendon is fine, but they're going to be without him. Utley's knee is a chronic situation.
Yes, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Sadly.
It really is, and so they're mixing and matching with their offense. Now their pitching is just so great. They've with the rotation, they've added Papelbon on the backside to close, so their pitching is going to be as good as you can imagine. That's a fair ball. The only place to go is to try to make the play at first. He is out there, and the run scores. Jimenez from foul ground made the throw to Mangini at first to get the out. But another run crosses the plate, and it's 6-4.
Nevertheless, phenomenal play there on both sides of the big boys. Jimenez, a good pick there, and you're right. I mean, it was a difficult angle for him to try to get the guy at home. Sets up, and then look at the play by Mangini, another big boy at first base. So that actually hopefully shortens this inning dramatically. But I agree with you. I think they're in more trouble than people can really inside know offensively. Where I really don't think Howard is. It's going to be a delicate comeback. It really is. Very similar to what Chase Utley went through last year, missing the first 70 games.
Up and in with the fastball. So what they've done is add Papelbon, and it was really pitching that carried that club a year ago. The Phillies, for a long time would just beat the door down with their bats, and that was not the case last year. Swing and a miss. The count is 1-1. In fact, they scored the fewest runs they have scored since, I think, 2002 last year, and that's not like the Philly teams that have been just dominant. I mean, they've they just win the division seemingly whenever they want to, and they've got a great team. But you do wonder when you look at age and health and all of that from the offensive side. Cleveland out of there. So a couple of runs score in the 8th inning for the Phillies, and they take the lead 6-4. Rays coming in to hit in the bottom of the 8th. At the Charlotte Sports Park in Charlotte County, Florida, the spring home of the Rays. Rays taking on the Phillies this afternoon. It has been just a beautiful day. A little breeze in the ballpark blowing across from right out toward the left field corner. Beautiful azure blue skies with clouds, white clouds above us. Comfortable day. And the Phillies will bring on a right-hander, Michael Schwimmer. He is their 5th pitcher of the day.
No relation to David Schwimmer from Friends, but or maybe they might be related. I'm not sure. He's not friendly to hitters, at least not this spring. They're only hitting $182 against him in 3 appearances. A big, tall, lanky, hard-throwing right-hander. He said the blue azure skies makes me think of blue cerulean skies by the great Dodger. Great. I always wondered what cerulean actually meant.
I know. We're going to have to get a dictionary.
Yeah,
when you start going there on me.
Yeah, cerulean. I don't know.
Looking for the dictionary.
I'm telling you.
Omar Luna is going to lead off for the Rays. A young infielder out of the Dominican Republic. He's been in the game at second and goes after that first pitch and strokes it right through the middle. A line drive base hit for Luna.
Most of the Latin guys don't usually wait too long.
No.
Well, the ball gets released and they're usually swinging.
Yeah. Yeah, their idea is to swing their way into the major leagues as opposed to walking their way in. So Luna's aboard. And now here's Matt Mangini. Mangini hitting out of the nice spot originally occupied by the Rays second baseman Rhymes. Will Rhymes started the day there. Well, the Rays got down 4-1 and had sort of a Rays rally in the 5th when they pulled off that first and third bunt play. Got a run out of that. Ground ball down to first, knocked down. It's going to be picked up, and a step on the bag there. Into second goes Luna, and Mangini is out first base unassisted. Cody Overbeck made that play down at first. He knocked it down, and they got at least one out of it. And so Brad Kuhn, who's in the leadoff spot, originally occupied by Sam Fuld. And Sam, as you chatted with, had a very good day today.
He sure did. I mean, you saw the dynamic offensive prowess of a Sam Fuld, who can bunt his way on, slap a little running bunt type thing, and obviously we know his defense.
There's a strike. It's 1-1.
In fact, the right off the bat, that one where he was on first base and went first to third on a little dribbler to the mound.
That's inside. 2 balls and a strike. A roller to first. It's handled unassisted. And Luna heads to third. He's there with 2 outs. Well, here's the day for Sam Fuld, and a very productive day it was, and a fun day.
It was. There's the one that I think he was wanting to practice right now, get an opportunity to push that ball past the left-hander, carry it with him. That's the kind of bunt you want to do is from the left side against the lefty. He's falling towards third base, so you want to bunt it between first and the pitcher, basically.
Jose Lobaton will bat in the spot originally occupied by Luke Scott. He fouls it away, strike 1.
Probably the most seasoned defensive catcher of the 3 that we've talked about, between Chirinos, Bolt, and Lobaton.
And this one right back, literally off Schwimmer into foul territory, and they cannot complete the play at first. That will score a run to make it 6-5. As Lobaton hit it right back off Schwimmer. As the ball deflected, he had to go after it, and neither Overbeck or Schwimmer could connect to make the play at first base. So Lobaton will get himself a base hit off the pitcher and a run batted in.
Well hit, but definitely after it hits the pitcher's hip, they had plenty of time. A little bit rush by the first baseman, not realizing that he's got Lobaton, who's a very speedy guy. And the rush, I think, cost him. So now they're checking the kid Schwimmer to make sure that his hip is okay.
And so it's 6-5.
He's going to get a couple of practice pitches, and I think he'll be fine. Didn't hit him that hard. But if you're in spring training trying to impress and you come out off of that one,
yeah, you better stay in.
We got a problem.
Yeah. Jeff Salazar, he's 1 for 2. He entered the game in the 4th inning in the outfield. And lifts a fly ball into center. Pierre's after it to make the catch. That retires the side for the Rays. A run, couple of hits, and a man left. 6-5 as we go to the 9th. Philadelphia. Well, the Rays shaving their heads today for a fundraiser for pediatric cancer research.
And you can be a part of this. You can make a donation.
That was, of course, Sam Fold, who Stu Sternberg thought at the outset it might increase his speed even more. And apparently it has, from the likes of what we've seen today.
Jose Lobaton, he got a cut. Look at that. He beat out that ball.
Here's Pierre trying to bunt one down to third. And Jimenez makes a nice play on that one to take care of the speedy Pierre. Yeah. In fact, Stu was among some of the over 70 Rays players and the office staff who shaved their heads. And Stu donated $25,000 to the Moffitt Cancer and Research Institute today.
Wow.
As part of that activity. It was great to see everyone down. The fans were involved, and donations will be collected online until Friday, May the 5th. Go to PCFcutforacure.org and make donations. And every little bit helps in the fight against pediatric cancer and the research to eliminate that.
I thought that you interviewed several of the players, and the best one might have been James Shields when he said that. I think after he had his haircut, he said, "I look younger now."
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. He said, "I think I look like 23 or 24." Does that count now? Is that, am I not 30 to continue the streak? Remember?
Yeah, he's going to be. In fact, the Rays, the actual Rays have I guess never had a guy start a game who was 30 years old. I think that streak dates back to when they changed the name and dropped
over 4 years. Or 4 seasons at least.
Well, it's 764 games in which the Rays have started a pitcher under the age of 30, and Shields, who will pitch opening day, will break that streak.
He looks younger. He looks 29 and a half with that cut.
Right center, and that ball's going to be caught by Salazar. Full speed ahead, coming in for out number 2. Jeff Salazar on the play.
Nice job by the kid right there. You're right. He was coming full speed, and here's one where a lot of I got it's being yelled because you don't want a collision like we had yesterday, but it was given way, and a very, very athletic kid, this kid, Jeff Salazar. Speaking of that collision, I was reading up in that. I didn't realize that, you thought that B.J. Upton would have played some football back in the day, but he said he never played football. With his speed, you figure he would have been a wide receiver or something, because I didn't like the contact. I wasn't into that.
Just overback batting. Carl Crawford told me the same thing when he was here. Here's a guy.
He would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, and he as a young kid didn't want to play football. He did, but he didn't like it because of the contact until he figured out he was so fast that there never was any contact. Ground ball down to third. Jimenez takes care of that. 5-3 on the putout. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 6-5 Philadelphia. Well, the Rays are down by a run as we move into the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 6-5. Michael Schwimmer still out on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies. So the Rays are going to need a run to tie or a couple to pull this one out.
And it's the old legend Milo Hamilton used to say when I was a kid growing up on WPIX in Miami when he was a Braves announcer. It's go get 'em Braves. The Braves weren't very good then, so they always were go get them in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, let's see what Chris Jimenez can do to start it here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
He's retiring after this year, isn't he?
He is. He is.
Wow. What a legend, huh?
Yeah. Yep, Milo. Who's 85, you know.
Wow.
Yep.
He'll tell you.
And the bunt attempt is fouled by Jimenez. That's a strike. Yeah, I saw Milo last year. Let's see, when we were in Houston in Interleague, and he said he wanted to do it long enough to catch Vin Scully, but he decided that he can no longer has a chance to catch Vinny in terms of numbers of games that he's done.
Right.
So he said, I'm just going to retire. So,
that was the deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Is Vince Scully, is he in the mid-80s too? He's got to be.
Yeah,
I would assume.
I don't know who's counting these days.
No,
you get to a certain point, I'm
years
not counting
I mean, like
anymore,
something like that. 60 years of doing this.
Wow. But he has done it since his early 20s in the major leagues, and so it's been a long run. Continues to be one. He's just great. That's all there is to it. Vince Scully. And here's Milo, who said that no chance to catch him, and so after this year he's had enough. Upstairs with that pitch, and the count is 2-2. Stephen Vogt is on deck. Well, how about Jimenez getting on base and let Vogt hit one out and send everybody home happy?
That could happen. Both these guys got some pop.
It's a foul ball back. Jimenez is another one of these guys who's in the catching competition. He can play different positions, as we've seen. He's at third base. He made a nice play in the last inning at third, and the Rays love a guy with that kind of versatility. But they're giving him a look as well. So, of course, Chirinos with the concussion slows him, but Lobaton and Jimenez and Vogt. So these are important at bats and important games for them.
Oh, totally. And because right now the Rays are thinking not only for this year, but in the coming years, from that catching position, we want to start getting some offense a little bit, friskier. They've solidified Jose Molina in there is going to be their go-to guy, but we want to have some guys that can swing the bat a little bit.
Stays alive, and they're fouling it right back into the screen. Rays have been out hit by 2, 12-10, and they trailed 6-5. Making it tough for Schwimmer. We'll have another telecast on the 18th. It'll be here against the Boston Red Sox. We'll look forward to being with you for that one. And strike 3 call. Right on the corner, says Tim Welke.
You heard that one snap. That fastball by Schwimmer had a little bit of extra oomph on it on the outside corner. Nice pitch right there. That's called the freeze.
Well, here's Stephen Vogt. Vogt had a base hit in the 7th inning. Thinking about a long one there with a big cut. Strike one.
She's got a nice setup. Look at him. Nice take back. He was trying to drop and drive first pitch fastball, but like his approach.
And a roller to second. Up and out with the toss to first. 2 up and 2 down. So here's Tim Beckham, his second plate appearance of the day. We had a chance to just see him during a brief at bat in the 7th inning. He's going to be interesting to watch this year in the minor leagues to see his continued progress.
Yeah, this is, I think, last year he had kind of that turning corner season. This is now, okay, put the stamp on it that you know, we're going to be really looking for you in the real near future, or are we going to try to trade you to get something for you, or both, really. I mean, he's that attractive.
Behind in the count, 0-2.
They want to get their money for it, put it that way. It's the #1 pick that he was. You're going to try to get something.
A 2-strike count. Ooh, pretty close right there. But it'll take at least another one. Beckham with a count of 1-2. And Boris Winter just missed again. That was very close.
And Tim Welke's trying to umpire behind the plate, trying to get into his season form too. And you know what? That was the right call, because he was trying to paint him just like he did to Jimenez, but good call.
That's outside. So now the count is full. After an 0-2, it's 3-2 now.
Call it, Timmy. Let me see you do something.
And how about that?
Got the breaking pitch on him right there.
So after 0-2, he threw some tough pitches too. I mean, very difficult pitches. And so Beckham walks.
They didn't want to give in to Beckham there, and 3-2 gave him a little slider. Good eye by Beckham.
So here's Feliciano.
El Veterano right here. This kid.
1-0.
He's seen it all in the minor leagues, man. About 12 years of playing AAA. This Puerto Rican's a good kid. He's getting a lot of playing time this spring so far, Dwayne. So it's been nice for him. He's doing a quality job.
Well, he's gotten some big league time during those years. His dad was something of a legend in Puerto Rico.
Now managing back in Puerto Rico.
A big cut. Well, he was trying to do some damage with that swing. 1-1.
And the wind's kind of shifted, so you never know. It's going now left to right, so.
Up the right side. That ball's going to be a fair ball and will bounce toward the corner. Montanez with a pickup. They're going to wave Beckham to the plate. The throw's not going to be in time. Beckham got the hand on the plate, and this game is tied. Well, the Rays are down to their final strike. The walk to Beckham and a double by Feliciano into the right field corner. And the Rays have tied this game. It's 6-6.
Great speed by Beckham shown right there. The athleticism and a nice job by Feliciano. And like Joe Madden when you were talking to him, we've had some pretty nice ninth innings. And sure they go. They have another nice ninth inning. Look at the kid run right here, number 29. He knows it's 2 outs, gets a nice wide turn to second. He's not even thinking about stopping. Look at the slide too. Beautiful.
So we're going to see a pitching change. Michael Schwimmer, an inning and 2/3, and boy, he got 2 outs here in the 9th and then got ahead of Beckham. 2 strikes and just missed on a pitch or 2, and then walked him on a 3-2 slider. And Feliciano doubles up the right field line back toward the corner to tie the game, and now he's in scoring position. And the Phillies decide to go to the bullpen. We'll be right back in a moment. By the Phillies, they bring on a right-hander, Jordan Watcott. Right-hander out of Utah. Went to school at the University of Utah. And a 2010 graduate.
He's a Ute.
Yeah.
I love that. The Utah Utes. Never could figure that one out.
And Omar Luna, who is 1 for 1 in this game. He's seen 1 pitch and lined a base hit into center. And a curveball. And that pitch is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Upstairs, it's 1-1.
You know, you got to figure the kid Schwimmer right now maybe second guessing himself about the 3-2 slider to Beckham when he kind of went 1-2 real quick with the strikeout to Jimenez and the ground out, and all of a sudden he's trying to, you know, play a little bit on the 3-2 pitch.
There's a little chopper back to the mound, grabbed by Watcott, and a throw to first in time. That's going to retire the side, but the Rays come up with a run. And so the Rays and the Phillies are tied at the end of 6. We'll be back to wrap it in a moment. Spring coming in 3-8 on the year, and they now have tied 3 games, 6-6 tie here with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies playing with a split squad. They'll head back up to Clearwater, and the Rays will dissect what they've done here this afternoon. Wade Davis, 4 innings. As Joe Madden mentioned, the one concern that he would have would be command.
That's it. I mean, basically, and I talked to Jim Hickey when I was down there in the dugout, too, about him during the game, and that was it. The frustrating thing right there for him is the command. The slider seemed to be good. He had a little bit of issue controlling his two-seamer, and they need to work on that a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it was kind of similar to his last start. He showed some sparks, but you got to have the command back in order to when you're vying for such a delicate position that they're going for right now.
All right, great to be with you today. Enjoyed it, pal.
A lot of fun.
All right. For Orestes Destrada, Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays and the Phillies have tied 6-6. This has been a special presentation of Sun Sports. Spring training coverage on Sun Sports continues Sunday. The Rays take on the Boston Red Sox. The action begins at 1 p.m. with the first pitch in high def on Sun Sports. Don't forget to log on to foxsportsflorida.com for the latest news and information surrounding your Tampa Bay Rays. From Charlotte County, so long, everyone.